You guys see me okay? All right, am I clear to you? All right, let me get this set up. My unfortunately my internet is down today, so I'm having to stand up. I do a stand up recruiting show. So I appreciate you guys hanging with me. Thank you so much for joining me on this recruiting. It's a beautiful Monday coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. As I said, I don't have like my normal equipment because the internet's down, but they're supposed to be over here today. So still working through it. I'm on my phone and I appreciate you guys being here. Going to talk about the big weekend that Alabama had and Coach Kalen DeBoer and what he was able to do once again this coming weekend. So we're going to talk about guys who are on commitment watch. We're going to talk about some high priority targets that were in Tuscaloosa and a lot more. And of course, we got the coffee. So just got the workout in about an hour ago, so I'm feeling good. I got the notes. I'm not using the envelope this time. I actually had a notepad that I found. So I appreciate you guys being here. And if you guys could hit the thumbs up on this video, I really appreciate you guys for being here. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. All right. Let's dive into it. And as everybody gets checked in, again, you guys can someone can notify everybody that I don't have my usual setup because the internet is out at my house, but we're fighting through it. So I appreciate you being here. 21 of you. What's up? Let's go. All right, here we go. Alabama currently coming off another recruiting weekend, and it was monumental. I think every single time that Coach Kalen DeBoer has an opportunity to host prospects here in Tuscaloosa, by the way, it was pouring this morning, you have an opportunity to showcase that the brand is still here. You're going to hear me say this again and again over the course of the summer, is now he's here. He can show the prospects, look, we're not going anywhere. This is the trajectory of the program. You can talk to other guys, and we're going to talk about Ryan Williams recruiting Oford, the #1 player in the state of Alabama. But look, the foundation and the vision is set here with the University of Alabama. What's up, Adam Lampello? I see you. C-Dub, what's going on, man? Appreciate you inside the comment box, man. Thanks for joining us. Max, what's up, man? Appreciate you having the notifications turned on. What's good, Corey? Good morning to you, man. I hope you guys are feeling good this Monday right here on Bama Football on YouTube. We're talking some recruiting. And I think, let's start here. So Alabama currently the #7 overall team on the On3 team recruiting rankings. I'm not worried about it. You know, what's interesting about this is Alabama has 10 4-star prospects. And yes, the 5 stars will come, and we'll talk about a couple 5 stars within the show. What's up? Let's get everybody checked in. Dean, Matthew, I appreciate you guys coming. No internet this morning, so we're going off my phone. I appreciate you guys being here and chatting with me. We're talking recruiting right here on Bama Football on YouTube. They have 10 4-stars. That is the second most amount of 4-stars in the country behind Notre Dame, who has 13. I think Clemson also has 10 4-stars as well. They've been doing a really good job recruiting as well. Same thing with USC. And it's interesting to see kind of the philosophy of USC or Clemson, because these programs, I think, have been, a little bit lackluster the last couple of years. You hear when I talk about college football as a whole, I'm not buying the Clemson or any of the teams from the ACC. Same thing with USC, but they're still being able to recruit at a high level. So, credit to them. Coach Kalen DeBoer has 10 4-stars, which I think has been monumental. And a recruit that was recently in campus this past weekend was Daryl Duke Johnson out of Georgia. And this quote I felt was really impactful. There was a really good article on On3 by Joseph Hastings, who caught up with him. And he says he didn't want to leave the University of Alabama. Like, he wanted to stay here. And that tells me that this coaching staff, like what they've been able to do in terms of making these players feel comfortable, making these players feel at home, selling the vision, talking with the coaches, understanding the trajectory of the program, man. I am excited about what is going on in Tuscaloosa. I really am. And I think a lot has to do with the coaching staff. So I wanted to kind of start out with where Alabama is, and they are #6 in the recruiting rankings. I don't know. I don't check this to me, but can someone inside the comment box let me know where Alabama is on 24/7 and Rivals? Again, I love Rivals. They were so good to me. I worked for them for 14 years. Josh Hemholt, who's kind of like oversees everything. He does a great job. Tony Tsoukalis, who I worked with for a long time, does a great job. So I love those guys. And yeah, my coffee, I have my coffee here. So if I take a pause, that's my coffee here. You guys can look at my backdrop for a second while I take a drink. Oh man, and I need my coffee hot. I need it like super, super hot. Okay, let's talk about another thing. But I'm gonna talk about Mo Linquist. I love that dude. That dude, he could honestly look. I'm gonna say this way out, okay? Oh, number 8 on Rivals. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm gonna say this might be way too early, okay? Number 5 on 24/7. I appreciate you, Chris. I think Mo Linquist might be like, he might earn Recruiter of the Year. I'm gonna say it because I still think when you have Naheem Oford out there, you have Ivan Taylor, you have Dejon Lee, like all those guys are in the secondary, a place that Alabama certainly needs to bolster, right, going into this coming season. And I think kind of piecing things together, it's looking promising for Alabama to get a couple of those guys. But before we talk about Mo Linquist, because I want to talk about that clip of him smoking a cigar with Chuck McDonald's pops. Chuck McDonald, he's another guy, right? Okay, number 5 and 24/7. I appreciate you guys. Okay, Michael Penix Jr. was in Tuscaloosa. All right, I was seeing. You know what was crazy? This past weekend, I was seeing private jets flying all over. Seriously, my son and I will be working in the garage or whatever, and he has a flight tracker app. You can't tell like who's coming in clearly, like because they're mostly private jets, but he could tell you what type of private jet it is. So Michael Penix Jr. was in town, probably getting in some work. I don't know why he was here, but he was posted up. The photo was from Donovan Murph. And he's a 2026 wide receiver. He also posted a photo of him with Ryan Williams. All right, so Michael Penix Jr. in town, getting in some work. I'm sure he was meeting with the quarterbacks in the quarterback room, right? You heard the positive things that Coach Kalen DeBoer has been saying about this quarterback room, whether it's about Jalen Milroe, whether it's about Todd Simpson. Love it. But him being in Tuscaloosa, I think, is another added presence, another added value here for the Crimson Tide. And I also saw him posted with Ryan Williams. All right. So point 3. All right. So point 3 is that Ryan Williams is recruiting so hard for the Crimson Tide. Look, and I get a lot of people were asking, like, and they continue to ask inside the comment box, was Ryan Williams, where was he during spring? Well, he was still in high school. He was a summer enrollee. So he's been here for like, I don't know, maybe like 10 days, 14 days or whatever it's been. I know we're kind of cruising through June, but he's a summer enrollee. And as soon as he's here, he has been actively recruiting for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Good morning, J Web Productions. I see you inside the comment box. Bombs, what's up going on, man? I appreciate you. Ricky, what's up? Good morning to you. Chris, again, thanks for the heads up. I don't have my normal setup. The internet is out on my pad, so just rolling off the phone. And actually, I only have one bar right now, which is crazy. So I hope it sounds good. I don't know how it's going. But Ryan Williams, one of the best, there's 2 of my favorite clips, all right, from this past weekend. One of them was Ryan Williams with Naheem Oford, right, who's out of Parker in Birmingham, the #1 player in the state of Alabama. What's up, Eric? I see you inside the comment box. Good morning, Robert, coming to us from Ohio. And Ryan was like, flip, 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 flip. And Oford's like going through some gear. I think it's going to happen. Naheem Oford is currently committed to Ohio State. I think he committed back in February, if I'm not mistaken. Big time baller. Like the guy, if you watch his highlight tape, you get so excited because of the things that probably Mo Linquist or even Colin Hitchler could do with him once he gets here to Alabama. And I think these in-state guys understand that, look, the brand isn't going anywhere and the guys are still going to still recruit the home state of Alabama. And I think it's a genius. Look, we always talked about Coach Saban playing chess. I think Coach Kalen DeBoer is playing a little bit of chess as well by having one of his best pieces on the chessboard, Ryan Williams, recruit Naheem Oford, right? Who better to get you to come to Alabama than a player that just went through the process a couple months ago when he was trying to decide, what was better for him. And it was Coach Kalen DeBoer's system. And I think even though Coach Kalen DeBoer is an offensive-minded coach, the guys on the defensive side of the ball, the coaches have been doing a really great job. And I love that secondary unit. And I love those coaches in the secondary. I know we probably don't talk about Freddie Roach enough, who's been doing a fantastic job, or Christian Robinson, who's doing an amazing job with the inside linebackers. But I just think I'm putting a lot of emphasis on the corners and the secondary coaches because of the fact that Alabama lost so many guys, the transfer portal or whatever you have it. Chris from New Jersey, what's up, man? I appreciate you coming in, man. Thank you so much for joining us right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you. Down south is saying, I'm from Ryanstown. I watched him a few times. He's a beast, 100%. And he has that mentality that, because think about that, Ryan Williams is actively recruiting Naheem Oford. All right, so those 2, what do they have in place, right? They're both 5 stars. 5 stars want to play with 5 stars. Savages want to play with Savages. And Ryan Williams is recruiting a defensive back to come over here to the University of Alabama, meaning that he knows he's going to go against him every single day. Same thing with Latsier Brooks, right? Like, you want to play against the best people all the time, 1,000,000%. Chris is saying Julio Jones 2.0. Man, look, there's so much hype, and we build so much hype around these prospects so many times at the high school level, which is fine. We get excited. That's fine. We can do that. We're fans of Alabama. We're excited about what is going to happen with the Crimson Tide, and that's okay. I think this is, let me ask you this, Undefeated. And if you want to be a fan funder of the YouTube channel, there's a hyperlink that you could hit to become a fan funder of this YouTube channel, or you could hit join or super chats. Like, this is how I get by. So I appreciate you guys hanging with me. I can't believe my phone says 1 bar of service. It's crazy. And we only have 14 thumbs up. So hit the thumbs up. Let me ask you this. Besides Ryan Williams, who was the most who else did we hype up the most, like, other than him? In the past couple years, I know there was a lot of, hype for like Tua coming in, for Bryce, but like who else were we hyping up? Because this has been like the most hyped up freshman that I've ever seen come in. And that's 8 years, right? So that's 8 years of covering from recruiting to the team. I'm just trying to think. I need to ask my boy Andrew Bone, who is the most highly, hyped up prospect? Ricky Smith. I don't think, like, Cam Proctor, people are excited about him, but like, man, nothing like him. People were really excited about Trey Sanders coming in. I'm trying to think. Remember all the hype that we had on Caleb Downs was good. Remember all the hype that we had on Kendrick Blackshire? Kendrick Blackshire, we couldn't post like enough photos of him because the dude was like just diesel coming out of high school. But the guy never saw the field at all. But I don't think he had as much hype as Ryan Williams. I don't know. Maybe think about that. Hit me up. Bryce, right? We had a lot of hype on Bryce. JoJo, I'm trying to think. All right. So Ryan Williams actively recruiting Oxford. I love it. And, is he going to flip down the road? I have no idea. But I love the fact that Ryan Williams is being utilized to recruit other guys for Alabama, right? All right, I wanted to talk about Mo Linquist. All right, I've talked about him probably for the last 5 days or so, leading up to Chuck McDonald's commitment to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Chuck McDonald coming from Mater Dei, same place where Bryce Young played. In the secondary, we need to load up there. I mean, Alabama needs to load up in the secondary 1,000,000%. Because of the guys that left. And look, we talk team, we talk recruiting. The team has guys currently that can operate the secondary unit at a very high level. I'm very confident that, whether it be Damani Jackson at the corner, Deshaun Jones coming in, Malachi Moore, Keon Sabb, even though those guys haven't really played together or haven't played together besides a couple, the spring game or whatever, I feel good about that. But when you start to look down the roster, there's a lot of young guys. So you really need to add a quality group, and Alabama is doing just that. And you know what? Could it be by design that Coach Kalen DeBoer, knowing his roster, coming in, made an excellent hire in landing Mo Linquist? All right, I already said it. I think Mo Linquist is probably going to be up for recruiting coach of the year, whatever award that the recruiting sites give these guys, because I think that Mo Linquist, he has the personality, he has the professionalism, he has the energy, and he knows the skill set to develop these players at the highest level. He's coached the Dallas Cowboys. He was the head football coach at the University of Buffalo. So it doesn't surprise me to continue to see him on social media. I know you're out there on social media as well. I mean, it seems like he is one of the coaches that continues to be hyped up by the players and by the parents of the players. For example, I just saw on social media one of the best clips, the highlights, was the fact that Mo Linquist was pictured smoking a cigar with Chuck McDonald's dad, right? So that tells me, like, he's working the relationships, and not only the prospects are understanding what Mo Linquist is bringing to the table, but also, like, the parents can see it as well. We talk about this all the time. It's like people can smell bullshit, right? They know good people. They know bad people. Like, if you have any sort of emotional intelligence, you could read somebody right away. And the first time I was able to, like, meet Mo Linquist immediately from the jump, he's just a good person. He has a good aura about him, a well-built individual, just like a man that you would want your athlete who could probably play in the NFL someday to be developed by. And now I don't know. The fear is that Mo Linquist, because we were saying his name, he's getting hyped up, that he will be a head football coach again, and this will be a stepping stone. And I understand it. It's part of the process. So enjoy him while you have him. And not talking over, Colin Hitchler, who also works in the secondary. I just think personally that Mo Linquist, there's something about him. Same thing with Jamarcus Shepard on the offensive side. So that's just my take. Take a picture of Bryant-Denny Stadium real quick while I drink some coffee. Got that workout in, feeling good. So on Mondays here in Tuscaloosa, I work out with F3, Fitness, Faith, and Fellowship. And we always do a different workout. On Mondays, we do kettlebell. So if you're in Tuscaloosa and if you want a free kettlebell workout, come out on Mondays, 5:30 Randall Park, which is down by the Black Warrior, to get a free kettlebell workout in. All right, let's talk more recruiting. A couple guys that are on commitment watch. So you had Chuck McDonald most recently commit, and we're really hyped up about that. And I see all you guys inside the comment box. I appreciate you guys being here. Eric D, like the phone font is so small, so if I go in, that means I'm reading stuff. Todd Tipton, what's up, man? If Ofer doesn't shut it down after his Ohio State visit, I feel pretty good about his flip. Yeah, that's a good point. He's committed to Ohio State. We'll get a chance to get the red carpet up by the Buckeyes, but I don't know. I kind of feel I'm excited about that because of the in-state situation, so we'll see what's happening. 92 on board. I appreciate you guys being here. Think about becoming a fan funder of the YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's talk commitment watch. All right, because a couple guys were predicted to come to Alabama over this past week by Steve Fong, who's one of the best in the business. I'm sure you guys already follow him. Michael Carroll is a name that popped up. Predicted to Alabama. He's a 4-star, 6'6", 310 pounds out of Pennsylvania. Now, what do I always say is how Coach Kalen DeBoer has recruited across the entire country, whether it's Pennsylvania, whether it's Los Angeles, Georgia, in the state of Alabama. Like, he has went everywhere. And this is a new prospect that has been predicted to Alabama. You also know about Dawson Merritt. He's also on commitment watch, was recently here with the Alabama Crimson Tide. He is a 4-star linebacker out of Kansas, right? The Midwest. And he is now predicted to the Crimson Tide. And then also within the state of Alabama, as I just said, taking care of your own backyard, you have Mal Waldrop, right? Who's a 3-star out of Phoenix City here in Alabama. So those guys are probably next to commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide. And let me ask you this. Who do you think will be next to commit to Alabama? Why don't you guys chew on that inside the comment box? And Dawson Merritt, Mal Waldrop, and Michael Carroll. Those are the guys that I'm asking you. Who do you think will be next to commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide? I want to hear from you inside the comment box. Was Bradley Bozeman really a 3-star? He was, honestly, if I had to rank my favorite centers over the... Todd is saying Merritt. I appreciate you, Todd. If I was to rank my centers... All right, let's do a quick shift gear real quick. Who is one of your favorite centers over the last couple years? All right, of course, it was Landon Dickerson. He was just he was the guy. I still miss him to this day. He was like that dog inside the middle, right? But Bradley Bozeman was probably my second. Bradley Bozeman, and then Ross Pierce-Baker. I covered him as well. And then, I don't know. It's kind of went a little bit back from... Landon set the bar so high, right? Who after Landon and Bradley and Ross Pierce-Baker, right? I mean, we can't talk about last season, the center, everything that happened with the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right, think about that. All right, so another prospect that was on board this weekend here in Tuscaloosa. this is funny. Jaden Harmon. All right, so Jaden Harmon out of the state of Georgia committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide as well. And he posted on his social media that Alabama was playing, in their recruiting facility. I love this. They were playing the replay of the 2023 SEC championship against Georgia. Oh, Ryan Kelly. Yeah, he's the OG. And I thought, what a flex, because, I don't see Alabama openly flex like on social media to Georgia. And when we have our Georgia fans that come in and they're talking about, they'll come in and they'll be like, go dogs. And they'll be like, Kirby Smart going to take Kalen Moore to the woodshed or whatever. It's like, and we always talk about this, they always forget like what recently happened. And that was that Alabama beat them again in the SEC championship. And I'm just waiting for Georgia to have their NASCAR come out. So I thought that was so funny. He posted that Alabama was playing a replay of that game. That was the game where Jalen Milroe put the team on his back and did his thing in the SEC championship game. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right, so we talked about Dawson Merritt. We talked about Mal Waldrop. We talked about Michael Carroll. All of those guys recently predicted to the Alabama Crimson Tide. There's another prospect that I want to talk to you about. I know for those of you that really are knee deep into recruiting, maybe this is a question for Todd. You have Ivan Taylor. Now, when we're looking to prospects that are committed elsewhere, you have Oford, right? Naheem Oford, who's committed to Ohio State, but you also have Ivan Taylor, who is a 4-star out of Florida, all right? 4-star out of Florida that still has maybe, he's committed to Notre Dame. And as I said, Notre Dame has 13 4-stars. Alabama has 10 4-stars. Clemson has 10 4-stars as well, most in the nation in terms of 4-stars. Alabama, I know they don't have a 5-star yet. But Ivan Taylor, all right, if you checked him out, what do you think he's going to do? Because it seems like he still has Bama and he still has Michigan, kind of in play. And I don't know how committed he is to Notre Dame at this point in time. Now, granted, as I said at the beginning of the show, I honestly am pretty impressed with the way that Notre Dame has recruited, this spring or the last 90 days, because they do have some guys on board. I mean, they have 13 4-stars. Is Duke a 5-star? Yeah, see, I'm talking off like the On3 rankings, but if Duke is a 5-star, then Alabama, has their 5-star on other services. I'm just saying like as a whole, because I go off On3, but I appreciate you, Hey Arnold, for adding that. According to them, they haven't had a 5-star yet, but we're tracking like Dejon Lee or Oford, other guys that could be 5-stars to commit to Alabama. So back to Ivan Taylor. What do you think is going to happen with Ivan Taylor? Maybe keep track on that, and that's kind of a name to research a little bit. He could think about this, and when you're building out your secondary, you could have Duke, Daryl Johnson, right, who's kind of borderline 5-star. You could have Chuck McDonald. You could have Dejon Lee. You could have Naheem Oford, right? You could have Ivan Taylor. My goodness, like that would be a fantastic group to have for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So just kind of thinking about that out loud. All right. I wanted to ask you this, okay? Let me get to this real quick. Robert is saying, do you think Haywood will wind up with Alabama? He's from North Carolina, if I remember correctly. I will get back to you on that. And Eric D is saying that Ivan Taylor is going to flip. I kind of feel the same way. That overall secondary could get really good. And then Todd is saying Bama has the second highest average per star commitment. That's important to watch in the long term of the recruiting rankings. Let me ask you this, all right? Coach Kalen DeBoer, let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of the staff, as I always do, how would you rate his recruiting performance thus far? 10 being elite, 8 being really good, 6 being, not that impressed, 5 average, 4 big drop off. What would you rate it? I'm going to type in probably like an 8.5 at this point in time. All right, so Jarvis is saying, what's up, Jarvis? Eric D is saying, everyone's saying 10. Mr. B said, man, I was saying 8. So that's low. Okay, Todd is saying 9. Okay, so recruiting is very high at this point. And in terms of the overall feedback where you see Coach Kalen DeBoer. All right, in his coaching staff, good. I mean, this is the overall average is definitely like 9.5. All right, so way higher than what I said. This is interesting. Let me ask you this. Who have been the pipeline states that Coach Saban, let me rephrase it like this. What were Coach Saban's pipeline states that he recruited from? Pipeline states. Of course, his own backyard. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Max. Florida. All right? Florida. He always, he was able to definitely go into a Lone Star State. He had really good connections with Texas. I think he did a good job recruiting Louisiana, right? Okay, Jarvis is saying Georgia, Tech. Okay, perfect. All right. Texas, Georgia, Bama, Florida. All right. Um, Eric D is saying we were on target with what Coach Saban does, 100%. Cody is saying Texas. All right, everywhere. Matthew is saying 100%. Okay, but there's some other ones that like stood out. Okay, Florida. Florida to me, I felt that Coach Saban had a really great connection to Florida. Outside of the IMG, he was able to go to Florida and retain major ties. Currently, in California too, he's going to California. Currently, Alabama does not have a prospect that is committed from the state of Florida. It's kind of interesting, at this point in time. Now, granted, their recruiting class isn't complete, but I haven't really heard of too many names out of Florida that have been kind of in play for Alabama. Just something, maybe it's just, an anomaly at this point in time. I don't know, but it kind of stands out to me. That's when we're looking at like Ivan Taylor, who's out of Florida, who's committed to Notre Dame, kind of like, oh, a Florida guy. And then when you look to Alabama, you're like, huh, they haven't landed a Florida prospect just yet. Was kind of surprised by that, but I guess we'll just have to track that at some point in time. Switching gears to a couple things that made me laugh over the weekend. Did you see that story? It was with Neil McCready, who covers Ole Miss, and he had, I think it was an Alabama staffer on board, and they were talking about getting a player to the airport on time, and that Coach Saban didn't want to stop practice. So he kept on asking Joe Pronunzio, who at the time was the special teams and tight ends coach, to figure out how to get him on this commercial flight at 5:40, right? 5:40 p.m. So they would practice, or was it 6? I think it was leaving at 6 out of Birmingham. So as you know, Tuscaloosa to Birmingham isn't a short drive. It's like 45 minutes, 50 minutes to the airport, right? And especially at that time. So he kept on asking Joe Pannunzio, like, what's the latest? And Coach Joe Pannunzio was like calling TSA, he's calling the airport, and they're like, Coach, like, this is a commercial plane. Like, we can't just like call Southwest and make them stop. So Coach Saban keeps saying, figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. So like they come to this point in time when they have to get this player to the airport, and Coach Saban's like, I got it taken care of. I got it taken care of. And I guess what they said is that, was it a sheriff, right? A sheriff showed up at practice, got the player in the car, drove to Birmingham, drove out onto the tarmac, and got the player on the plane. Right? Like the major flex by Coach Saban. So you start to see all those coaching stories come up. I saw Kristen Saban did an interview with, the next round. And it's good to start to see all those interviews coming out and just kind of like the power, right, that Coach Saban has. And I appreciate you guys being here. We got 139 in this morning right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you. And Eric, kind of getting back to that Florida thing and saying we lost a little bit of steam in Florida because of the new coaching staff. Miami, Florida State, and Florida. And I was kind of wondering about that too, is like, have you lost steam in the state of Florida? I know Cristobal's over there. I know Billy Napier's over there. I know Mike Norvell is over there. You got Gus Malzahn now at UCF. So maybe some of those coaches have done a better job retaining the players from Florida, but I just thought that was interesting to think about from like a recruiting aspect. And that is something that you certainly have to continue to maintain, is a pipeline to the state of Florida. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. Maddie P, what's up, man? Good morning, Kyle, along with my fellow dudes and dudettes of the undefeated. I hope everyone is having a wonderful and great I'll say Monday. See you in the chat. Jarvis is saying Saban had some serious juice and still does for sure, right? I mean, you see what he's been able to do. So the Saban Center is coming soon, which will be amazing. And I think that's going to be great for a lot of youth and the teachers here in Tuscaloosa. I think that will probably be, one of the biggest aspects of him and Miss Terry and their legacy. I mean, remember, they have built 18 homes here through Habitat of Humanity, and the Saban Center is going to continue to further, the youth of Tuscaloosa. And one of the things that you have to always think about with Coach Saban is Miss Terry was a teacher, right? So he wants to continue to foster that. And he was a teacher himself, right? When you're a coach, you're a teacher. So I just kind of found that interesting, that story hilarious. So I appreciate you guys joining me this morning right here on Bama Football on YouTube, coming to you, in a kind of a different format right now because of my gear. Well, the internet, I don't have the internet here. So, when you're an internet business, you have to kind of adjust. And I appreciate you guys being here this morning, rocking with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Jarvis is saying, if I come in close, that means I'm reading the comments because like my phone is pushed back. So I have to like go up. I guess if I had like a bigger screen, then I could read the monitor. I don't know. JSL, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Jamie French is a 5-star from Florida. If we can reel him back, that would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Maddie P is saying happy Monday. Chris, New Jersey, undefeated. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, so I just wanted to wrap on here. And how my show, because a lot of people keep asking me like, what is your show? So my goal right now is to be on at 7:30 a.m. in the morning time. I get home from my workouts now that I have my kids home. During the summertime, as you know, I have full custody of my kids, and I'm here, and I'm a father first. I have to be here for them in the night times throughout the entire day. So I'm driving kids around, whatever it is. So right now, 7:30 works for me, and it works for my family life settings, like my personal life. And then during the season, I'll definitely have a schedule as news happens. And what's going to be interesting is I don't know how the team, because the team is now practicing in the morning time. They are not practicing in the afternoons anymore. So Coach Saban always practiced in the afternoons. Now the team is practicing in the morning. So I think we're going to have a couple of different settings where we're covering Coach Kalen DeBoer earlier in the morning. So I'll keep you guys posted that. Grayson, love you too. I appreciate you guys. Jarvis, early bird gets the worm for sure. And as news happens, so when you think about news, think about Alabama football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys so much. And like my shows, like I don't want to like continue to go like overboard. Like once the show is done, the show is done. Yeah, and the call-in line will definitely, the call-in line is going to come back. It's just like right now I'm just operating on the recruiting, and I'm just kind of vibing. Like I want to cover the team, how I cover the team. It's what I've always done for the last 8 years. But yeah, dude, don't worry. Call-in show will be back in full effect. That's never going away. I love catching up with you guys. So I appreciate you guys. And like I said, like the show, like I've said, look, we covered the notes. Like those are the notes that we covered, all right? And if there's more notes, we'll cover more stuff. And if there's news that happens, we'll cover news that happens. If there's recruiting or, scoop, we got you covered. So we appreciate you guys. Southern Red, I appreciate that so much. So you guys have a blessed day. As news happens, got you covered on Bama Football on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed my segment this morning right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Be good people. And, we will be back as news happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. See ya. I don't even know how to end this. All right, see you guys.